Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Good to be back. Good to have you back. Everton 0, Manchester United 3. We're going to recap yesterday's match. What a match it was. What a goal by Alejandro Garnacho, as I'm sure most of you know and saw. I mean, just wow. Wow. I mean, come on. Come on. The kid's special, man. The kid's special. I've been saying it since he came onto the scene, since he came and he scored that first goal for us. You could just tell the kid is special. But we're gonna recap some stuff. I got some talking points here that I've written down. So we're gonna get right into it. Let's go. So Garnacho and Mainoo, I want to talk about Garnacho and Mainoo. Two things that I picked up yesterday was the fact that, and I was very happy with the win. Very happy that we got a 3-0. We kept a clean sheet. We upped that goal difference a little bit because, God, that goal difference is awful when you look at the table. I mean, like, we were the only team up there, top 6, or whatever it was, that had, like, negative goal difference or, like, +1 or something. Everybody else had, like, 12, +12. So it was just looking ugly. We did up it a little bit, so that's good. We need some more results like this, and hopefully we can get them. But just one of the things that I took out of the match yesterday, after when I was just, after I soaked up all the Garnacho hype and all that stuff, right? The one thing that really hit me was that yesterday, our two best players on the pitch, the two best players were two teenagers, two kids. They played absolutely phenomenal, out of their mind. Kobbie Mainoo, I mean, the kid was outstanding. He was brave. He was courageous. He was calm. He was collected. He was decisive. He was confident on the ball, smooth. He never looked worried. Garnacho, I mean, he scored. You have to be courageous. You have to be ambitious to even try that. You have to be confident in your ability to even try that, because you have a very high chance, 95%, you not scoring that goal. Maybe even 99, I would say. But, he tried it, he did it, and then even after the goal, I mean, that kid ran his damn socks off, man. He was running back, he was making tackles, he was helping out Luke Shaw on that side. He was playing his heart out. These two kids, they played their heart out. And it says a lot about them. But at the same time, and not trying to be negative, but this is just how I see it, man. These kids, we have two kids that they're better. They're more ambitious. They played better. They showed more heart. They showed more determination. They showed more hunger than most of that senior squad. And I think that's one of the problems that we're seeing this season, and you could even argue maybe in the seasons in past, is that our senior players, they don't have this hunger. They don't have this desire. And I don't understand why. I mean, you look at it and you could tell these kids, it means something to them to have that shirt on. It means something to them to play with that kit, to be on that pitch and represent Manchester United. You could tell they play their heart out, man. They bleed on that field for the club. And the senior players, I don't see it from them. I don't see it's a lack of intensity, it's a lack of drive. It's almost like a lack of motivation that I'm not seeing from our senior players, and they need to bring it, and they need to find it, and they need to have it. And I think that's why Ten Hag is playing certain players like McTominay, like Maguire. He's dropped Anthony, but Anthony is I think he always shows some fight, but his performances have been god awful. And there's other players that they want the chance to play, and they're ready to go. And I think, what, people aren't giving Ten Hag any credit for this, but there is internal competition in the squad. This internal competition needs to be there. I would like to see it more with two players, and it has to be with Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, because they are not playing well. They're not playing up to their standards. Now, I think Bruno is a little bit different than Rashford. I think Bruno is suffering a little bit because because the way the midfield is orientated right now, Bruno is not playing as the cam right behind the striker, and I think that's his best position for us, and especially in the Premier League. I think he needs to be playing there. I think that's where he does his best work. Um, I think he gets a little too crazy when he's playing in that deeper role as like an 8 or something. Um, he just needs to be, because I mean he gave that beautiful pass and made the correct decision and had the vision for Martial's goal. Um, and that was in that position of a cam. So I think he needs to be playing there. So, but again, he is the captain and he needs to be putting in captain performances, and he's not really doing it. He's losing the ball a lot. He's making bad decisions. His his like final execution or final deliverance isn't there on the corners, the free kicks, the passes. Um but again, he keeps going. So it's, I know the standards at this club is supposed to be higher than just showing passion and stuff like that, but we've been lacking that for a very long time, and that is the base of the foundation of a good football club. You need to have those things, and I personally think we've been missing that for quite some time. So I think you need to start at the bottom and build up, right? And I think Ten Hag has done this by introducing this competition that he keeps talking about. I mean, Varane, which we would all say is our best center back, maybe, Martinez, you can argue. I mean, he's been benched for a player that we all very much disliked based on his performances. And, we had a long time to see him and judge him, and we don't want him at the club, and we thought he should be moved on, and he stayed, and he is now starting, and he is playing very good. Harry Maguire, he is playing very good. He deserves his credit. He's not making mistakes. He's looking very solid. He's making good decisions. He's defending very well, and I don't know if this is just because maybe there was less really focus on him. I mean, he spent some time out of the squad. We weren't really talking about him as much. The spotlight wasn't as much on him. He's lost the captaincy, so there isn't that demand of you are the captain of Manchester United. So maybe he just gets to focus on himself and and doing the best job he can for the team, and maybe that's helping him because Manchester United is a big club. It's very scrutinized, and it's very hard to just come in as a player. To come in as a player and be the captain, it's even more scrutinizing. And I mean, you're seeing that with Bruno Fernandes now. Before he was actually the captain, right? I mean, everybody was saying Bruno Fernandes has to be the captain. Bruno Fernandes is now the captain, but Bruno Fernandes is not putting in performances like Bruno Fernandes was doing when everybody said that he should be the captain. And now there's some people saying Bruno Fernandes shouldn't be the captain. Um, so it's a very scrutinizing position, but I think it's benefited Maguire. He's been very professional. I have to hand that to him. Very professional. You were ridiculed by everybody. All the fans, loads of abuse. I mean, some people take it too far. It's okay to criticize his performances. It's okay to say he's not good enough. It's okay to say, we need better. But some people, they take it way too far on that front. But he endured all of that. He lost the captaincy. It was very public. Um, and he kept himself grounded. He just kept showing up to training, doing what he was supposed to be doing what he was asked for. He got his opportunity through because the team has suffered injuries, and he's taken his opportunity, and I think he's solidified his starting spot for now. Um, I don't know if this is a tactical thing. I don't really know what's going on, but for me, Lindelof was poor yesterday, and I think Varane. I think we need to figure out if there is a way to play Maguire and Varane, because there's some people arguing that they do not go together well. They cannot play, and that's why Ten Hag opted for Maguire and Lindelof. I kind of think that because I think he was looking at the defense, and the defense was not doing its job. We were leaking a lot of goals, and he switched things around. He switched around the pairings and all that stuff, and we've been very more solid with Maguire and Lindelof playing. We haven't been leaking as many goals. I mean, we kept a clean sheet yesterday. I think Onana now has the most clean sheets in the Premier League right now for the season. I mean, that's also another fantastic stat considering how he started and how we started. He was making mistakes. He put in a very, very, very solid performance yesterday. I mean, the guy made some absolutely fantastic saves for all the people that, they say, "Oh, but De Gea was world class stop shopper." Yeah, I mean, but Onana did it too. There was that one shot that was going into the upper 90. He saved that, and the other one that they had where it was a double save where he kicked it, he saved it. They went to go get the rebound off of it, and he made himself he kept himself big enough for the ball to hit him again and ricochet out, and then somebody cleared it off the line. I think it was Mainoo cleared it off the line. So yeah, that's just a couple things that I got from the game. But yeah, I wasn't happy with Lindelof's performance. He was very nervous on the ball. He couldn't figure out how to play out of the back, which was, I think, hurting us. That's why, Lisandro Martinez is a very important player for our squad. He's a very important player for Eric Ten Hag. He does the job that Ten Hag wants of him and demands of him and the team. The guy picks up the ball from the goalkeeper when we play it out of the back, and he brings it up. He does a very fantastic job of that. And we've been missing that for some time. And I personally think Varane is way better at doing that than Lindelof is. So I don't know. I think Ten Hag's gonna stick with Maguire and Lindelof. But I would look to see somehow. I don't know. They have to. I don't know if they need to play more games. I don't know if it's just maybe they just don't complement each other. Sometimes two players, the way they play, the way they think, they just do not go together, and you cannot play them together as much as you would want them. So, but yeah, I personally would be looking to try and see how I can play Maguire and Varane at this moment. Um, Now Garnacho, Mainoo. Mainoo for me, man of the match performance because I mean the kid was just he was phenomenal, man. He was absolutely. I know Garnacho scored like the greatest goal ever or whatever. Some people argue in the history of the Premier League, whatever. But I mean, just the way you're talking about a kid. What is he, 17 or 18 years old? He just came back from injury. He's played his first senior game for Manchester United. You put him in that midfield that has been suffering, hasn't been doing its job. Kid came in and he looked like he was playing for us for like 5 years already. The kid was so calm. He was so confident on the ball that he is the epitome of a Manchester United player. I have not seen a player like that for years. For years. I mean, I don't want to say like, he was up there, but it was almost like Scholes esque, Carrick esque, like calm, solid, confident. He's not going to make some type of mistake. I mean, like, I never feared at one moment in that game when that kid got on the ball. I never feared that he was going to lose the ball. He was going to make a mistake that was going to lead to a counter attack or whatever. I mean, that kid was just, he was phenomenal. And, we have two very good young products right now that are on the first team. They have one foot in the door, and I'd like them to take the other foot through that door, open the door, and go in and continue to progress and continue to grow because it's something that we've been lacking for quite some time, and I think it's very important for the team development, for the club development, that we start bringing through our youth players, and not just bringing youth players because there are youth players, but we need high quality youth players. We need to bring in players to solidify positions for us. That way we can focus That way we can focus um more of our scouting and more of our money and resources to the other positions that the club needs. So, instead of buying another midfielder, we have Mainoo. Instead of buying another winger, we have Garnacho. We can take that money that we would have spent on a midfielder and a winger, and now we could put it towards a striker. We could put it towards another center back. Maybe we need a right back or whatever. Um, it's very important, and I want them to continue doing what they're doing. They're playing excellent. They're playing very, very excellent. Did I write anything else? It's been a slow day for news. There hasn't really been much news. We're still waiting for some type of confirmation announcement with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the 25%. I did see something. I forgot who the source was, but it was credible. I don't really follow any of those fringe sources. I follow really only the credible sources, the ones that have been reporting on this stuff, the ones that have been reported on the past to get things right and stuff like that. And they said that it's not expected to be announced today on Monday. So probably, maybe, hopefully, sometime later in the week, I would assume. Don't really know what's going on. I mean, I did see or hear something that the Glazers are spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers for this. So I would assume that the negotiations right now must be some type of giant headache for Sir Jim, because who only knows that you have to deal with the Glazers, man. I mean, just imagine, not in the public eye, in the background, right? In behind closed doors, and you're dealing with the Glazers. I can only imagine what kind of stupid, dumb bull crap this guy has to deal with, and the negotiation and the stubbornness and the idiocy of these people when he's trying to buy 25% and make this club good again, and they're over there worrying about whatever the Glazers always worry about, which is probably money. So that's probably just a pain in the ass. But yeah, I mean, that Garnacho goal, dude. The Garnacho goal, just I can't believe it, man. I've watched it like 700 times, and I still can't believe it. It doesn't didn't feel real. I felt like it was a dream when I woke up. Like, I had to go check my phone again and watch the video just to make sure that it was real, because it just didn't seem real that the kid scored that goal. Like, I've been backing that kid ever since he came on. You could tell, just, I was saying for weeks, every time the kid came on, he makes something happen. Every time he comes on, he makes something happen. And people were giving him a lot of crap because when he started getting his starts, he wasn't as impactful, I guess you could say. And people were saying, "Oh, he's just better coming off the bench." And I'm so happy that he scored that goal and he put in that performance he did yesterday, because he's able to quiet those people talking about him like that. He's able to quiet them down, and turns them into fans. He's humbled them, and they go from haters to supporters, and that's what it's all about. And those two kids, especially um Garnacho and Maguire, right? This is where I get super disappointed with Jadon Sancho. Now, he claims there's some other stuff going on. Somewhere in the middle, there's the truth, but we don't actually know. He refused to explain himself and go any further into detail, so I cannot just 100% back him just because he says something, right? But from the outside, looking in, from what I see, it was just so unprofessional from him, and he just didn't have to do that. And it's very upsetting that he chose to go down this path. um you see Garnacho, you see Maguire. I mean, Maguire was absolutely publicly, he was pretty much publicly humiliated. He was the captain, he was benched, he wasn't playing as a captain. I mean, when do people have a captain and bench them for the whole season, and are still said to be the captain officially, and they're benched for the whole season, barely playing anything, and then publicly stripped of the captaincy at the beginning of the next season, right? And these guys just kept their head down. I mean, Garnacho, he's put in performances, and Ten Hag has come out and said, "Well, we need better from him, and he needs to do this better." And neither one of these guys have ever done anything that Jadon Sancho has. They've kept their head down. They show up to the training. They do what's asked of them. They do what's expected of them. They put in their time. They put in their effort, and they get their chance. And when they got their chance, they took it. And that's what a professional footballer does. And that's why I'm so pissed off about Jadon Sancho, because it's just like, dude, you were struggling. We were backing you. We were supporting you. We wanted you to do good. And then you turn around and just be so unprofessional and embarrassed us, the club, the manager, everybody. It was embarrassing to do that, to have that story, and everybody's talking about it. And the rivals, they don't really know what's going on. They don't. It's not their club. They don't really care too much. They just see a headline that Jadon Sancho calls Ten Hag a liar, and then they start talking crap about you. I mean, it was an embarrassment. So I think that's why I have to give Maguire so much credit. I gave him a lot of stick, and I still stick by that, rightfully so. He deserved it. He deserved all the criticism because he was playing very crap, and he was very poor, and he was very below the standards, and he was costing us games and making mistakes. But he's turned it around, so he deserves his praise, and he gets his flowers now. I mean, that's just how it works. This is how the world works, you know? When you go to your regular job, and you're performing better than 90% of the company, I mean, hopefully, most of the time you're going to get some type of credit, the credit that you deserve, unless you work for an asshole. It's just sometimes the case, but most of the time, no. People do recognize that, and they do appreciate it. And and when you do it, you do get your credit, and rightfully so. And he deserves his credit, and he's getting it. I mean, nobody's talking bad about Maguire. People are being positive about him, and he does deserve it, and good for him. So I think that's it for today. Just a little recap on the game. I mean, thoughts and opinions. Anana, very good. Delo got the assist for the Garnacho goal. Crosses, I think I need him to put in more crosses like that, especially when Højlund is there. Oh, we didn't speak of Martial. Martial got got the goal. I mean, I still think we need to move him on, because he's just his wages are too high to be at this club for what he's giving us, and clearly Højlund is the starter over him, and I'm still not convinced that Martial can consistently play 90 minutes like 2 to 3 times a week. I still think he has some type of an injury proneness in there. So but he did play his part, and he did all right. And another thing that I forgot to mention earlier was we need to figure out how to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more confident. That ties into the Mainoo and Garnacho thing. I mean, these guys are direct, they're confident in what they do. They know what they're gonna do, and they execute it well. And the rest of the team needs to get on the same page, because I mean, I watched Tottenham when they lost to Villa at home, and they lost at home to Villa. But still, these guys, the intensity they were playing, the quickness, the directness that they were playing with, and people want to come and say it's Ten Hag. Ten Hag has been saying this is what he wants to play with for probably since last year. It's not Ten Hag. You can only tell somebody, what's that thing where they say, you can only lead the horse to water, you can't make them drink it. It's the same crap. He's been telling them what he needs from them. He's been telling them what to do. And they just haven't been able to do it. So they got to figure it out. We need them to do it. Sorry about that. Laptop was about to die. Oh my god. All right. So it was freezing. It was dropping frames. The battery was killing it. Um, yeah, I guess we're just gonna end the day. Fuck it. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying the team needs to play with more directness. They need to. Tottenham was, they were sprinting everywhere, pressing like crazy. They're down. They're desperately trying to get the tying goal, and I just don't see that same intensity from our players. And we're supposed to have that intensity because we're Manchester United. We always had that intensity. That's what the foundation. One of the foundations of our club. It's a minimal requirement when you put on that shirt to have that intensity, to have that desire, to have that passion, to have that drive, to have that motivation. It's a minimum standard. That's like the basic lowest of the lowest standards you can have at the club when you come to the club. And I see it from these two kids, maybe one or two more players, but the majority of that senior squad, they need to get their stuff together. And Marcus Rashford, I'm worrying about him. I'm worrying about him a lot because he just doesn't seem right. His mentality doesn't seem right. Um, I don't know. Like I think it's a combination of he is not playing well, but also I think he might have some personal stuff going on, and I think it's just all combining into one. And I'm his it's I'm not liking his attitude right now on the pitch. I'm not liking. I'm not liking the body language he's showing. I'm not liking. Um, I'm just not liking when I see him. Like he's leaving me very disappointed. I mean, there's times where like, and he's been known to do this a lot, and I don't know if it's because maybe like it's a medical thing that like he was told because of that back injury that he once sustained that he should not be going up for like 50-50 headers because most of the time when you go for a 50-50 header you're going to land on your back. And it just seems like because I can't I refuse to believe that a player like Marcus Rashford just goes, screw that, I'm not jumping for this header. I'm too good for I'm not jumping for the header. I'm too good for that. Give me the ball on my feet. Who do you think I am jumping for this header? You think I'm gonna waste my time jumping for the header? And then I also refuse to believe that like you have a player like Marcus Rashford and he is refusing to jump for headers and Ten Hag would allow, or any manager would allow any player to be like, yeah, I'm not jumping for headers. So I almost think it's a medical thing. Like he was told you have to not or limit your aerial challenges because you risk yourself seriously injuring whatever he had injured in his back, either re-injuring it or getting a new injury, because he does not go for 50-50 challenges in the air. He doesn't even try, and it pisses me off because I'm not even saying like I need him to win him. I need him to just jump up and bump the guy. Just give him a little knock, challenge him for him, make it difficult for him to win that, make it difficult for him to pass it to his teammate. But it might be a medical issue. It might be a medical issue. Um, but you know, he did some things right yesterday. He did look for his teammates more. He did make a couple passes, but there's other times when it's just like he picks up the ball and everybody knows what he's gonna do. He's gonna try and dribble like from the midfield into the box, and he's gonna try and take on like three players. And sometimes I feel like there's no need for that, man. Just like give him a little dribble, pick your head up, look for your teammate, do like a nice give and go, create yourself some space, and confuse the defenders. You give it to your teammate, make a nice run, try and receive the ball back. You're gonna be open, and it's easier for you. Like I think Rashford, he has to make the game easier for himself. Not and it'll be easier for the team, but easier for himself. Like I think he's very frustrated. I think he knows he's not playing well. I think he wants to do well, and I think it's all affecting him. And I think he's at moments he's trying too hard to do something good, whereas it's just like you just need to get the ball and do the simple stuff, do the basics. I mean, yeah, I want to see you take on a player or two, but you have to switch it up. You have to make the correct decisions. Like Garnacho, he's very good at that. Garnacho is very good at when he gets the ball. Am I going to take on these two players, or am I going to, you know, play around with it a little bit and then give it to my teammate and try and do a give and go, or move or open up some type of space, make a run to pull a defender or something like that. He's very good at that. And uh, if Rashford can figure out how to do what Garnacho does, I think it's only going to help him. It's only going to improve his game, and it's going to improve the squad. So but that's it for today. Thank you all for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. Especially with the likes, it helps a lot. It takes 2 seconds of your time. It really does help a lot. Especially for us, because we're a small channel and we're just starting out, and we need all the likes as much as possible. It gets us into the algorithm. It gets more views for us. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate and love all of you. Have a good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching from around the world. And we'll see you in the next one. If anything big breaks, we will obviously be making a video. Um, and we have the match coming up on Wednesday, I believe, for the Champions League. No Marcus Rashford. He is suspended. Um, Maybe we'll do a preview for that on Tuesday or something. We'll see. But otherwise, good luck. And don't worry, we will definitely get you another one.